大家好，好，我是教会的传道人，来台湾3年半了。可是虽然我知道怎么说中文，用中文讲到会有一点困难，所以我就请 Jackie 帮我翻译。So I'm going to speak in English. Jackie and I have known each other since the first year the church started in 2009.
我和 Jackie 认识是在2009年教会刚成立。
He's a good brother.
他是一个好弟兄。
We're going to have a good time.
我们会有很好的时光。
Is this too loud?
Yeah.
Yeah, good time. And then for those of you whose English may not be so great, you can use this opportunity to improve it even more.
如果你觉得英文不好的话，你可以利用这个 Bertina 讲到的机会来练习你的英文。
So win-win for everybody, hopefully.
希望大家可以有收获。
Okay, so has anybody been watching the Olympics the last
大家
couple
有
of
在
weeks?
看那个奥运转播吗？
Yeah?
有看吗？
有一位。Okay, so I love the Olympics every 4 years. I always look forward to gymnastics. I love the track and field.
奥运每次年举办一次，我很喜欢看那个体操啊，还有那个田径。
Yeah. So there's so many different times, but I thought it was kind of perfect that our Bible reading plan ended up on the passage that we're going to read and study together today.
我们这个读经进度刚好就是跟我们今天讲到的内容是有相关的。
So I've got some props that you see
我
here.
准备了一些道具，你可以看到那这边。
But I hope we have a good time today, okay?
我
So
相信今天都会愉
I
快。
like to interact with all of you,
我希望大
so
家有很多的互动，
you can talk back at me if
所以你
I
可以问我问题，或是跟我分享。
Okay, so let's read our passage today from 1 Corinthians
我们
9.
来看一下我们今天的经文，哥林多前书9章24节到27节。
Actually, I'll have Jackie read it with you.
OK， 大家一起念。岂不知在场上赛跑的都跑，但得奖赏的只有一人。你们也当这样跑，好像你们得着奖赏。凡效力得胜的，诸事都有节制，他们不过是要能坏的冠冕，我们却是要得不能坏的冠冕。所以我奔跑不像属定向的，我斗拳不像打空气的，我是攻克己身，叫身服我，恐怕我传福音给别人，自己反被弃绝了。
Let's pray together.
我们一起来祷告。
Father, we just love the way that you love us.
天父，我们跟你一样爱我们，
And we just give you this time today that we have together.
也把我们今天的时间献上给你。
God, I pray that you would open our eyes, open our ears, open our hearts.
求你打开我们眼睛、我们的耳朵，还有我们的心，
Pray that you give us ears to hear, eyes to see, hearts to comprehend.
让我们有耳朵可以听，有眼睛可以见，让我们的心能够去理解你给我们讲的事情。
What you're doing and showing us today in our midst.
你今天要透过你的话语来告诉我们的事情。
Pray this in Jesus' name.
奉靠耶稣的名求，
Amen.
阿门。
All right. So maybe for some of you, you've read this passage many times before,
也许你们之前已经看过这个经文很多次了，
or it could be the first time
或
reading
是你
it.
是第一次看到这个经文。
But no matter what, I hope that we can look at it together, and I believe that this passage has a lot of wisdom and keys
但我希望我们今天可以一起看，我相信这个经文是有很多智慧，还有很多我们可以学的东西，
in running our race and running our race well.
让我们怎么样可以去跑得好。
So this passage is written with the backdrop of the Isthmian Games, which is the ancient version of the Olympics.
这经文的背景呢，其实是有一个比赛 ，Isthmian Game，
Yes.
它是一个
Anyway,
奥林匹克的比赛，那个奥运的前身。
yes. So I like showing the context of the passage. So it takes place in a city called Isthmia outside of Corinth.
这个比赛，伊斯米亚这个比赛，它是在哥林多这个城市旁边，你可以看到地图。
Right. So it's about 10 miles outside of Corinth.
这是在克林多城10英里之外的地方。
And these games brought people from all over the Mediterranean together.
这个比赛的就是很多地中海的人都会来参加。
So it was like the biggest sporting event of the year,
这是当时最大的一个运动赛事之一，
drawing the empire's best talent.
就是把这个帝国里面所有最厉害的人都聚集在一起。
Okay. So if you go to the next slide.
下一页。
The city worshipped this Greek goddess called Poseidon.
伊斯米亚这个城市呢，他们侍奉的是一个叫做 Poseidon 的这一个神。
So the games were to honor this god.
这个比赛呢是要荣耀 Poseidon 这个神。
Anybody remember who she is the god of?
Poseidon 是谁？大家知道他是谁吗？
Of the sea.
他是海神。
Yeah, of the sea. So the most prominent, this is a temple actually
这是
there.
他的神庙，这是祭祀波塞顿的神
That
庙。
was dedicated to her. And so there was also a stadium, a theater, and a hippodrome, which is where they rode the chariots and stuff.
所以呢，在这个城市呢里面会有一些赛马，就是很多比赛设施，像是这样子的一个运动场啊。
So on the left is like where they would race the chariots.
就是那个赛马场，就是那个
Similar.
买赛马车的一个。
And the right was like a theater.
右边是一个半圆形的竞技场。
So there would be sports like foot races, wrestling,
所
boxing.
以有拳击啊，还有那个摔跤啊等等的这些比赛。
Throwing the discus.
或是那个掷铅片吗？
Long jump.
掷铅饼。
And believe it or not, there was even poetry reading and singing.
当时呢，比赛期间还有那个朗诵诗，还有那个唱歌。
So a little bit different than our Olympics
跟
today.
现在的奥运不太一样。
Also, according to a lot of the inscriptions from Paul's time, women actually also competed.
在保罗的那个时代呢，其实那个女性也是可以参加这个运动会的。
They even ran and won the 200-meter dash as well as the chariot racing.
女性甚至可以在这个赛马的这个比赛当中得胜这样子。
Also, I want to share, like, since there weren't any permanent places to live, this was an ideal place for Paul to do his work of pitching tents with Aquila and Priscilla. They made a living out of tent making, so it was perfect for them to be there.
那时候好像没有那个固定的居所嘛，所以他们会在这边搭帐篷。搭什么？ So tents. So they live there.
Tents. Yes. So it gave Paul work and share the gospel.
哦，所以保罗会在这边扎营。
Yes. Okay, so just a little background. So I want to share with you a few key points in what I believe Paul shares with us to help us run this race.
我要跟大家分享一些重点，就是保罗如何教我们来跑这个赛跑。
The first one is proceed, to get going.
第一个重点就是要继续前进。
In verse 24,
24节
it says, "Do you not know that those who run in a race all run, but one receives the prize? Run in such a way that you may obtain it."
岂不知在场上赛跑的都跑，但是得奖赏的只有一人。
So Paul says, "Do you not know?" Sorry, I don't have it on the slide, but it's in
保
your.
罗说：“你们岂不知道？”
Do you not know? So whenever Paul asks this question,
保罗他在问这个问题的时候，
he's confident that his readers already know the answer.
他其实都已经知道，那个读者都知道这个问题的答案在哪里。
So maybe you can remember like a parent or a teacher asking like, "Don't you know that?"
当那个老师或者是爸爸问你说你岂不知道？你难道不知道的时候，
Like you shouldn't touch the fire, or you should be doing your homework.
你不应该去碰火，你应该做你的功课。
Something like that. You know the answer is
你已经
yes,
知道这个问题的答案在哪里了。
right? So this is what Paul's saying. He starts out, "Don't you know?"
保罗就这样问我们说：“你岂不知？”
So this isn't an exception. He knows his readers already know that there is only one prize, only one winner.
他知道，大家都知道，在跑场上得到奖赏的只有一个。
So you know in the Olympic Games there's gold, silver, and bronze, right? For first, second, and third.
在奥运的场，我们的奥运比赛呢有金牌、铜牌、银牌、铜牌这三个奖赏。
Here there's no second place reward. There's only one winner.
在当时呢，只有一个奖赏，就是只有金牌。
So these people are competing really fiercely after this crown.
所以他们那时候比赛都非常的竞争，为了要得到这个奖那个
It's
冠。
a wreath made out of celery. Celery. Well, this is but the real thing.
Celery.
Yeah.
芹菜吗
Yes.
The vegetable.
Yes. I know it sounds ridiculous, but that's what they wanted. They were after a crown of celery.
那时候的这个桂冠是由那个芹菜的做的。
Okay, so there were a lot of other perks that came with it, like they could not pay taxes for a year, or
除了这个奖跟冠冕之外，他们还可以免税，1年不用缴税，
or serve in the military.
也不用去从军，也不用去服兵役。
And on top of that, there would be statues of them put up all along the road on the way to the games.
还有很多很好的那个荣耀和地位这样子。
But really, the prize was the crown.
但最好的奖赏是这个冠冕。
So when you become a Christian, we all enter this race, whether you like it or not.
当我们成为基督徒之后，我们都加入了这场比赛。
But nobody wins a race by staying at the starting block.
但是呢，我们没有办法赢得比赛，如果我们只是在起点 starting block。
Yeah. So this is in the middle is one of the fastest runners, Usain Bolt from Jamaica.
在中间你看到一个牙买加的选手，他是世界上跑最快的人之
You
一。
guys heard him or seen him run before? He is so fast.
他跑得非常的快哦。
Imagine if Usain Bolt was just at the starting line, but he was frozen in that position.
他们都在同样的起跑点上，但他们在拍照的时候都静止在这一刻。
He would prepare, he would know how to win, but he was just stuck at the starting block.
他知道如何去跑，但是他在起跑点的时候，他是在准备的。
It would be ridiculous, right?
看起来有点愚
If
蠢。
that was all he did.
如果他只是停在起跑点上的话，
So really, there's no way to win the race if you aren't running.
如果你没有去跑的话，你是不可能赢得比赛的。
To win the race requires that you get in the race.
如果要赢得比赛，你要加入这场比赛。
Okay. So you can't just stay at the starting block, right?
你没有办法一直待在起跑点。
And then in a race, there's always people watching, right? The
比
spectators.
赛的时候，也有一些观众在看你。
So you can't expect to also stay on the sidelines just watching people run the whole time.
我们也不能一直站在旁边看别人。
Running a race isn't meant for spectators. It means that you need to get involved. You need to get in on the action.
我们不只是要当观众，而是我们要去参与。
So all run this race, but it's important to know that unlike the Olympic Games, we're not competing against each other as believers.
跟奥运不一样，我们不是要彼此竞争。
I want you to hear that we're not competing against each
我
other,
们当基督徒不是要彼此竞争，
right? And not only one person wins the prize.
并不是只有一个人可以得到奖赏。
When Paul says run in a race, all run, he's talking about everyone, not just one person.
保罗在说，在场上赛跑都跑，他并不是只有讲一个人。
I think as believers we can sometimes run into the tendency of like comparing ourselves or seeing how other people are running.
有时候我们当基督徒的时候，我们会跟其他的弟兄姐妹比较，
Or we'll say, oh, how come they're at this point already and I'm not even there yet and
我
I'm
们
like
会
this.
想说，他怎么都已经这么好了，而我们还在这边。
But that's not how it is. We need to remember and remind ourselves that the prize is offered to each believer.
但是我们要相信这个奖赏是属给我们所有人的。
And I think that's good news because there's always going to be someone faster, there's always going to be someone stronger or smarter than us.
当然有很多人可能会比我们聪明，或比我们强壮，比我们坚强。
But it's okay because we're running towards what opportunities God has for us, not against one another.
但是我们要高兴的事情，因为神都为我们预备好了奖赏，我们只要朝着标杆直跑。
Is that good news?
这是好消息吧？
All right, so in the last part of verse 24, Paul says, run in such a way that you may win.
然后他就说：“你们也当这样跑，好叫你们得着奖赏。”
He says run. This isn't an option or suggestion, it is a command.
他这个跑的是你们这个命令。
He says run, don't walk, don't stop, don't fall down. Run because you can win the
你
prize.
要去跑，因为你们会得到奖赏。
After all, the point of entering a race is that you may win.
参加比赛就是说你有机会可以赢。
And we're going to talk about that a little bit, so I'm not going to go
我们之后会再继续。
So whether you're stuck at the starting block or you feel like you're a spectator today,
也许你今天还是觉得自己还在起跑点，或是你只是一个观众。
I want to encourage you that it's time to get going.
我希望鼓励大家，就是大家可以继续的去跑。
And I believe that today is your day.
我相信今天就是最好的时机。
Okay, so you need to get going.
要继续。
Second part I want to share with you is to prepare.
第二个重点就是要准备。
Getting ready.
准
Just
备好，
like this guy.
就像这个人一样。
Verse 25 says, everyone who competes for the prize is temperate in all things.
凡较力争胜的，诸事都有节制。
Competes comes from this word in Greek, agonizomai.
竞争的这个英文，它这个来自那个希腊文的痛苦还有烦恼。
Do you want to try to say it with me?
你们想跟我念一次看看吗？这个字
Agonizomai.
agonizomai。
Okay, that's where in English we get the word agony or agonize.
这个字根呢是英文 agonize 的字根。
And it means to contend with adversaries, to fight.
就是要去跟你的竞争者竞争。
And it refers to the tremendous effort it takes to put forth in winning.
要花很大的力气才能赢。
So an athlete who wants to win goes into strict training.
一个运动家如果想要赢，然后他要接受很严厉的训练。
In the Isthmian Games, the athlete had to prove that he had been training for at least 10 months.
在你要参加伊兹密这个比赛呢，你至少要训练10个月。
They had to prove that they had spent the last 30 days in the gym before entering the contest.
他们参加比赛之前要证明他们自己已经训练30天以上。
So if we want to win our race, we need to prepare well.
如果我们要胜利的话，我们就要准备好。
We should run as a winner runs.
我们就要像赢家一样。
I want to just note here, like we're talking about winning and racing, and we're going to define what that means later.
我们一直讨论到赢，还有去比赛，我们待会会解释一下这些意思。
But we're not in a race to achieve salvation or entrance into heaven.
我们去竞争比赛，不是为了要
entrance into heaven, to get into heaven.
不是要我们是要进入天国。
Right, like we know that we receive grace to do good works.
我们领受神的恩典。
Right, we don't strive for it to buy good works.
我们不是靠我们自己的努力。
Okay, so the first point after this is to play according to the rules.
我们要根据这个规则，就是规则。
I don't know if does anybody like running here?
有些大家喜欢跑步吗？
She and Eunice and Lily, great. I hate running.
我不喜欢跑步。
I don't have any stories to share to
我没
motivate
有跑步
you.
的故事。
Like I really hate it. I despise
我不
it.
喜欢。
I don't hate a lot of things, but I hate running.
我不喜欢跑步。
But for those of you who run or train for something, I know runners like if they train for a marathon, maybe they'll go running on a trail, not always on the track.
如果我们要练习跑步的话，我们只会跑在那个跑道上面。
Right. So maybe like somebody likes going up the mountain, somebody likes going towards the water.
有些人去练跑的时候，可能会去山上跑步，或者是去河边跑步。
But imagine if during the actual marathon, those people decided, oh, I'm just gonna go off the track, I'm gonna go sightseeing.
但是在跑步的时候，你会去跑偏离跑道跑到其他地方吗？
They're not gonna win, right?
他们是不会赢的吧？
Only the ones who are headed towards the finish line will even qualify for winning.
只有那些一直跑在跑道上的人才会赢。
So you need to play by the rules.
所以你必须要遵守这个规则。
2 Timothy 2:5.
提摩太后书2章5节。人若在场上比武，非按规矩，就不能得冠冕。
Okay, so what are the rules when it comes to the Christian race?
当我们参加这个比赛，我们是基督徒，那我们规矩是什么呢？
One of the most challenging passages in the Bible, I don't have it here, but it's
对我们来说
always
最大的挑
challenging.
战是什么呢？
Jesus says, if any man would follow me, let him deny himself and take up his cross. Sorry, I didn't give you this verse. Anybody know it off the top of their head? Take up your cross, deny yourself, follow me. It's okay, we'll be fine. Anyway, skip that. I believe that if we want to share in Christ's victory, we also need to share in his sufferings.
如果我们要经历神的得胜，我们也要经历这些痛苦。
Or at least ready to share His
我
suffering.
们要准备好要分享他的。
Right? No cross, no crown.
没有他的十架就没有我们的冠冕。
Does anybody have experience like avoiding or resisting God because you thought it would be painful?
有人有逃避神的经验吗？
You don't have to answer. You don't have to raise your hand.
你不需要回答我的问题。
But I'm pretty sure more than not, each of us have.
但是我都相信大家应该有或多或少这样的经验。
I think disobeying God is even more painful.
但是不顺服神是很痛苦。
And it only delays our suffering even more.
只会让我们的痛苦更加。
So anyway, my point is, if we try to withdraw from anything that's hard or painful,
如果我们要逃避这些痛苦的事情的话，
or it's just annoying,
或是讨厌的事情，
it's like it's a violation to the rules of the race.
这样是不符合这个比赛的规定的。
Okay, so in verse 25 it says,
25节，
the one who competes for the prize is temperate. Temperate in all things. And temperate
诸事都有节制。
pretty much means self-control or
就是说
balance.
自制还有平衡。
So although, in Galatians it says that the fruit of the Spirit, and the last one is self-control.
哥罗西书那个圣灵酒果里面当中有提到节制。
So although the presence of our self-control is from the Holy Spirit, it's our responsibility. The practice of our self-control is our responsibility.
虽然节制是圣灵给我们的，但是我们也要去自己去磨练自己，是我们的责任。
In 2 Peter,
彼得后书1章5节，
it says to add to your faith self-control.
你们要分外的殷勤，有了信心，又要加上节制，有了节制，又要加上忍耐。
Right, so it says it's our job, it's our responsibility. And the next one is Galatians, where you may be familiar with. I don't know if you can see that.
加拉太书的
Yes.
圣灵酒果，
So take note that love is the first one,
忍耐是第一个，
and self-control is the last.
最后一个是节制。
As if to kind of regulate the virtues before it.
节制就是要去平衡前面8个这个圣灵。
And what I mean by that is, if we have love without self-control,
如果我们有爱，然后又加上我们的节制，
it could turn to passion or lust.
如果忍耐没有节制的话，就会变成纵欲。
Right, and joy in excess could be pretty shallow, excitement.
如果喜乐没有节制的话，会变得很肤浅。
Peace without self-control could be idleness.
如果和平没有节制的话，就是可能就是手上就是很懒惰。
And patience without balance could become apathy.
忍耐没有节制的话，就会变成
Apathy, like,
就是对很多事情没有兴趣。
So we need to take control of our appetites and our passions.
所以我们对我们的这些都要节制。
I know that might not be something you want to hear,
也许大家不想听到这样子的。
but I'm not talking about like complete abstinence in all cases. I'm talking about what it means to restrain.
但我要跟大家分享那个节制的重要性。
In 2 Timothy 3:1-5.
提摩太后书3章1到5节，
It talks about an out of control world.
他跟我们分享就是说，如果我们没有节制的话，会有怎么样的一个情况发生？
That's not super different from what's going on now, but Paul is talking about what's to come.
保罗在跟我分享这个之后末世会怎么样？
So in light of this, if you look through the list that he has here,
如果你看到这些他所说的，
I want to ask you, in what areas of your life do you need to exercise self-control?
大家有哪些地方需要操练自制的地方？
Is it your media intake? Does that get in the way of spending time with God?
这会影响到你和神相处吗？
Are there some relationships in your life that need boundaries,
有些
healthy boundaries?
有些关系需要一些健康的界限。界限。
Or when it comes to eating or drinking,
或者说在吃东西的时候，或是喝酒的时候，
even sleep or
睡觉
laziness.
都要节制。
In our speech, even how we
我
speak
们
to
聊，
others.
我们跟别人说话的时候也要节
Okay,
制，
that's something I hope that we can all think about
这是我们可以去思考
and
的，
bring to the Lord.
可以带给到神面前。
Okay, the next point is to say no to flabby Christianity.
第三个重点是对基督信仰不要懒惰。
In Proverbs it says, as iron sharpens iron, so one person sharpens another. Next slide.
箴言27章17节。
Like I said before, I don't run, I don't like it, so I don't have any inspirational stories.
所以我不喜欢跑步，所以没有相关的故事可以分享给大家。
But I've come to realize that I do really well and I'm motivated when I have someone to work out with.
但是我知道我有可以彼此勉励的朋友，
Or a team sport.
或是有团队的资源，
So I play tennis, I play volleyball.
所以我喜欢打网
I
球、
enjoy-
网球，
I enjoy the team aspect of that.
我喜欢团队的这种感觉。
So same thing in the spiritual.
在灵命当中也是一样的。
Before I came to know the Lord, I felt like I was alone in my walk.
在我认识主之前，我觉得我自己是很孤单一个人的。
And it wasn't until I came to a church and found a small group
但我在信主之后，加入小组之后，
that the spiritual family was what showed me who Christ was.
但这个属灵的大家庭呢，告诉我这个基督是怎么样的，
And that changed my life completely.
这让我的人生有完全很大的转变。
This journey that we're on is not meant for you to be alone in.
因为这个基督徒的这个旅程呢，不是孤单的。
So if you ever have had that thought, that's a complete lie.
如果你觉得你在追寻神的过程当中是很孤单的，这是一个谎言。
So I want to encourage us to get our spiritual workout buddies,
我希望鼓励大家，我们可以找到我们的属灵同伴，
right? That will lift you up, that can
会帮
encourage
助
you
你成长，
and speak into your life.
他会跟你一起成长。
Yeah. So, okay, how do we expect to be all that God wants us to be if we aren't willing to train in becoming all He wants us to be?
我们要怎么样成为神所希望我们成为的人呢？
I have these boxing gloves here.
我有准备了这个拳击手套，
These are just for show, but I used to box.
但我真的玩过拳击。
And in boxing, when you go to a class, they make you do a lot of like exercises before you actually box.
你上拳击课的时候，那个教练会教你做很多练习的动作。
Like for a long time, I always wanted to give up before we even started boxing.
我因为在还没有正式拳击时候，我觉得好累，好想要放弃哦。
But they do something called shadow boxing.
他们会有一个那个，
You go through the motions
就
of
是
boxing.
练习拳击的动作
And you
，shadow
just
boxing，
look at yourself in the mirror.
就是你看着镜子里的自己，
And you're pretending like you're
你假装你在
doing the
你
motions.
在跟对方打架。
And that's kind of what I mean by preparing, right?
这就是我所说的准备的意思。
We need to prepare ahead of time before any contest, any race,
我
any
们在任
battle.
何比赛之前都要做好准备。
Otherwise, when we get to that point, we're going to be like, whoa, I'm
否
not
则
ready.
当我们在这个比赛场的时候，我会不知道该怎么办。
So what kind of good habits are you establishing, right? Just like shadow boxing, your muscle has muscle memory. They start to develop so that you don't need to think through, oh, I need to punch now. Your muscle just does
对啊，
it.
所以在你练习的时候，其实你就会有肌肉的记忆，你就会很自然就有反射动作出来。
So try to figure out what rhythm is needed, what habits you need to establish as part of your training.
所以大家可以想一想，我们要怎么做才能
Okay,
锻炼自己。
everybody okay so far?
都还可以吗
Still with me? Yes, okay, almost there.
太高了。
So we are running, we are getting ready, and we need to have purpose to
我
get
们要有
focused.
目的，有一个目的。
Right, so Paul uses these two images of running and boxing.
保罗他用了这个赛跑和拳击的这个
He says, I run like this, not with uncertainty. I box, not as if I'm beating through the air.
所以我奔跑不像无定向的，我斗拳不像打空气的。
This woman from the Bahamas, if you watch the Olympics,
如果你看了那个奥运的话，这个女生呢，她是来自巴哈马。
Does anyone know the story?
你们知道她的故事吗？
She was winning I forget which race it was, but she was in the lead, but then the American was beside her was taking over the lead.
她原本这是在领先，但是呢，旁边有一个美国人就是超越她的。
And at the last moment, right before their at the finish line, she dove over the finish line.
她就这样穿越了那个。
That's the picture. If you look it up, there's like so many different videos and pictures. But she dove over the finish line and won the gold.
跨过去。
She won the gold by 0.7 of a second.
哦，她应该是比赛就是只有0.7秒的差距赢了比赛。
Crazy. So she had focus. She knew what she was aiming for.
她知道她的目的是什么，她的终点是什么。
In her interview, she said, "I wasn't even thinking about anything else or about diving. I just was thinking about the gold."
她说她在受访的时候说到，她只想要赢。
Yeah. So when we're running, what is our prize? What are we aiming for?
那我们在赛跑的时候，我们要知道我们的目的是什么。
To win our race requires that we're focused on the prize.
我们要赢得这个奖赏的前提就是我们要去很专注的。
Like I mentioned before, Paul's not talking about the salvation being the prize.
保罗说这个得胜就是拯救。
It's not about salvation. Yes. He's been writing about his ministry as an apostle.
他在写他当那个门徒的这个过程。
So when we understand it properly, he's talking about eternal rewards.
他在跟我们讲的是一个永恒的奖赏。
To win the race requires us to be focused on the prize.
我们要得胜的话，我们就要很专注在我们讲。
Oh, sorry, you can skip this. All right. It also requires knowing our purpose.
也要知道我们的目的。
I know in church we talk a lot about purpose.
在教会当中，我们谈很多关于目的的。
But I want to ask you, what are you reaching for?
那想问大家跟各位，我们想要达到什么样的目标呢？
Some of us are running in a race that we haven't prepared for.
有些人在跑一个赛跑，我们还没有准备过比赛。
We're kind of just going through the motions and on autopilot.
我们好像是自动驾驶。
So the race that you're in isn't against anyone else, like I said.
你现在在跑的这个赛跑呢，不会影响到其他人。
It's your race.
这是你属于你自己的。
And you need to decide what is a win for you.
然后你要自己去决定说，怎么样才算是赢。
Right? As believers, we all have a common purpose. Love God, love people, make disciples.
我们身为基督徒，我们可能会有一些共同目标，比如说是爱神、爱人等等。
But to know your purpose, I can't do that for you. I can't figure it out for you.
但是每个人都有属于自己的目标，我们没有办法为大家决定。
Right? And as a church, we need to know what is a win.
在教会里面，我们要决定自己要知道我们要怎么样。
Right? Like if a sister has a win that maybe I'm waiting for, a breakthrough, I celebrate that win with her.
如果这个姐妹她是需要有一个突破，那我就会她的目标是突破，我就会跟她一起庆祝。
Right? If Grace Baptist or Truth Lutheran Church has a win, we also win. That's also something we're celebrating with them in.
如果另外的教会得胜的话，我们也会为他们感到很高兴。
All right, so you can skip the next one. Next. Jonathan Edwards, he's a Christian missionary.
Jonathan Edwards 他是一个传教士，是基督徒。
He said, "Lord, stamp eternity on my eyeballs." It's kind of hard to translate, but okay, let me explain it. Like he said, put eternity on my eyeballs so that it's not only the first thing I see, but it's the lens that I see through. Okay. Have an eternal perspective.
让我有永恒的眼光。
And I believe having an eternal perspective will give us an everyday purpose.
让我在日常生活当中都有一个这样的眼光。
All right, so I encourage you to do that. I know I don't have like specific tips, but I think for each one of us it's different. So
我知道虽然我跟大家分享这个，但是其实每个人都有不同的做法。
Okay. I know we're getting to the end, but I have one more thing that I really want to share with you.
我们快要结束了，但我还有一件事。
So hang in there, okay?
继续大家撑下去吧。
Yeah? Okay? We're running this race,
对，
okay?
我们也在赛跑当中的。
Okay, so the final thing is that Paul talks about is to discipline his body.
最后跟我们说的就是说discipline， 我们要有自律。
And he talks about perseverance, or I think of perseverance when I talk about discipline, and to never quit.
就是不要放弃，持之以恒。
So when you talk about perseverance, the objective of perseverance is to get somewhere.
持之以恒的目标就是要达到我们的目标。
Right? It may take everything you have to come out of it.
也许我们要付出很多的代价，很大的代价。
If you're going through a struggle or adversity, you need to make a commitment that you have what it takes to overcome and have victory.
如果你现在遭遇到一些困境，你需要有持之以恒才能。
So perseverance is a character trait that allows you to face and go through the storm instead of avoiding it.
持之以恒这个是一个品德，让你能够去突破困境。
Maybe we feel like quitting.
也许你很想要放弃了。
But perseverance says, no, it's not an option.
但是如果你有持之以恒的心的话，你就会知道说，这不是一个选项，放弃不是选项。
I think each of our lives would look really different if we committed to knowing that quitting is not an option.
我们每个人都有不同的困境，但是我们要知道说，放弃不是选项。
See, in Romans, it says that
罗马书这样说。
We not only glory in our sufferings, because we know that suffering produces perseverance, perseverance, character, and character, hope.
因为我们知道患难生忍耐，忍耐生老练，老练生盼望。
Perseverance can make a really positive change in us.
忍耐可以让我们的品格更加成长。
To the point that it's not just something we do, but it becomes who we are.
让我们变成我们自己，就成为我们的人格。
It makes us strong.
让我们更坚强。
So every athlete that trains, they have perseverance that is their strength.
每个运动家都有持之以恒的这个精神。
When we talk about discipline,
那我们谈到自制的时候，
it's a Greek word that it talks about beating yourself to the point of bruising yourself, black and blue.
自律它的希腊原文，它是代表用鞭子鞭打自己，直到那个淤青为止。
Roger Federer, who is an amazing tennis player,
费德勒他是一个很有名的网球选手。
he struggled in his mind a lot.
他内心有很多的挣扎。
And he said that something that changed the way that he played and changed his life
有一件事情改变了我。
was that to become a champion, he said that he needed to first think like a champion.
你要成为一个赢家，你必须要认为自己是一个赢家。
And if you ever watch him play, he's one of the coolest. Like he takes everything so easily. Like he's very calm.
你看到他比赛的时候，你就觉得他非常的冷静，非常的自在。
But he needed to discipline himself and create and start thinking like a champion, disciplining his mind.
但是他要训练他自己的内心。
And so without discipline, we are sure to fail.
如果我们没有自律的话，我们就会失败。
Maybe some of us like really hate the word discipline or self-control.
也许我们大家都不喜欢自律或者是节制，
but both are necessary.
但自律和节制都非常的重要。
And it doesn't mean we have to be like sad or sober all the time.
但是虽然我们要自律和节制，但我们不需要感到很烦啊怎么样。
But I think it's measuring what we do with the aim of pleasing Jesus.
但是我们要想到我们要自律和节制来讨神的喜悦。
Right? Most of us are slaves to our bodies.
我们都是我们肉体的奴隶。
Our bodies tend to tell us when to eat, what to eat, how much to eat.
我们的肉体会告诉我们说要吃什么，要什么时候要吃，要吃多少。
When should I go to bed? When should I wake
什
up?
么时候要去睡觉，什么时候起床。
But not an athlete.
但运动员不一样。
The athlete leads his body, his thoughts, his emotions.
运动员要透过他的心。
Yeah.
他的意志来控制他的身体，而不是用身体来控制他。
And I believe for us here specifically, we need to discipline our minds, what we think.
对我们来说呢，我们要去训练我们的内心。
Because there is an enemy out there who wants to stop you.
因为有仇敌想要来阻挠我们。
And if your win is of any significance to God, there is going to be opposition.
如果你靠着神的得胜，一定会有仇敌来阻挠我们。
But you can overcome.
但是呢，靠着主，你就可以突破。
And so I have this saying. It says, "When the enemy reminds you of your past, remind him of your future, of his future."
当仇敌提醒你的过去，要提醒仇敌他的未来。
And I want to encourage you with one of my verses of all time, favorite verses of all time.
我想跟大家分享一下我最喜欢的经节。
In 1 Corinthians.
哥林多前
Yeah, 10. Oh, sorry, 2 Corinthians.
哥林多后书第10章。
To take every thought captive. Yeah. To take every thought captive and make it obedient to Christ.
就将人所有的心意夺回，使他到顺服基督。
Oh, it's okay, yeah. All right, so I don't know what that may look like for you, but for me, it took me establishing a habit of confessing the Word of God, literally in the mirror every day, to conquer fears and condemnation and just poor images of myself.
就靠着这个经文呢，我会提醒自己说要更加坚强。
My mind was like everywhere.
我的心可能会有时候会
just thinking too much.
想太多了。
It was driving my life.
有时候会影响到我的人生。
But I want to tell you today, if that's where you're at, is that you can always control your thoughts.
但是你是可以去控制你的心的。
And you always have a choice.
你有选择。
It's really whether or not you if you commit to it.
只是说你要不要做而已。
Right, so discipline ensures that we don't fail.
自律让我们不会失败。
But it also helps us stay on course.
也会帮助我们能够跑在那个跑道上面。
So that we are not disqualified.
这样我们才不会输，才取消资格。
In this picture, it's the U.S. Men's relay team.
这个是美国的接力赛的队。
4 by 100 meter relay, and they were disqualified.
他们取消了参赛资格。
After all the training, all the preparation, they were disqualified because they didn't play by the rules.
因为他们没有遵守规则。
And so you need to pass the baton at a certain time, and they didn't do it properly. In the baton, you know.
哦，他们在传那个棒接力棒的时候没有做好。
Instead, they were disqualified.
所以他们就被取消参赛资格了。
So when Paul is talking about being disqualified,
保罗在说取消参赛资格的时候
he's not saying you can lose your salvation.
他不是说你就没有办法得到拯救。
He knew that he was secure eternally with Christ.
他知道他在基督里是有永恒的救恩。
But he was talking about maybe that he could suffer a loss of gaining reward.
但有时候可能得不到奖赏。
And even be ashamed at the coming of Christ.
有时候甚至会觉得以基督为耻。
So, in our culture, right, there's so many different rules or boundary lines that are constantly changing.
在我们的文化当中，有很多的规则，还有界限会不断改变。
In business, in politics, in morality.
在商业啊，或者说在政治，或者在我们的道德标准。
But sports helps us to see that there's clear lines and rules.
但是这个运动的赛事当中，会让我们知道，其实有很清楚的规则。
Recognizing that these rules are in place so that we can play according to them and win and not be
我
disqualified.
们知道有规则，我们就可以按照这个规则去比赛。
So likewise, I want to encourage us to know that in God's word, it's not meant to restrict us in any way.
我想鼓励大家，那个神的话不是要来限制我们，
but to actually keep us in the race and bless us.
是要祝福我们，让我们能够跑在跑道上面。
And I want to ask you guys in closing, where are you at today?
结束之前，我想问各位，大家在哪个位置呢？
In Hebrews 12,
希伯来书12章
If we could read that
我
together.
们可以一起念。我们既有这许多的见证人，如同云彩围绕着我们，就当放下各样的重担，脱去容易缠累我们的罪，存心忍耐，跟那摆在我们前头的路程，仰望为我们信心创始成终的耶稣。他以本来在前面的喜乐，就轻看羞辱，忍受了十字架的苦难，便坐在神宝座的右边。那忍受罪人这样顶撞的，你们要思想，免得疲倦灰心。
Okay. I come back to this verse a lot in my life.
我现在你们看这个经文。
Because in this race, it can get tiring.
我们在比赛的途中可能会觉得很累，
We can get distracted,
我们可能会分心，
or there's just so many overwhelming challenges that can beat at us at times.
会有很多我们看似无法突破的挑战。
But when I think about this
但
verse,
是当我看到这个经文的时候，
that we are surrounded by such a great cloud of witnesses,
我们被这么多的见证人所围绕。
I think of myself as running a marathon and all of heaven is cheering me on.
我想象自己好像在跑一个马拉松，然后很多天使在为我们加油。
In New York, we have a famous marathon, New York Marathon.
有一个纽约马拉松是一个很有名的马拉松。
And when I've watched it almost every year that I lived there,
因为我住在纽约，所以我几乎每年都会看这个马拉松。
there's people that write their names on their chest, like Mary or Bob.
就是跑者都会在他们这边会写自己的名字 ，Mary 或是 Bob， 把自己的名字写在衣服上面。
And I wondered why they wrote their own names on their
我在
shirts.
想，为什么他们的衣服上会有名字呢？
But as they came around the corner,
但是他们跑到这个街角的时候，我在看的时候，
strangers would start yelling their name.
陌生人就会开始喊着他们的名字，
So they were saying, "Go Mary, go Bob, you can do it, you're almost there.
加油 ，Mary， 加油
Don't
，Bob，
give up, keep
不要
going."
放弃，继续跑吧。
And I believe that,
我相信，
I believe all of heaven cheers us on in that way.
天使会像这样子为我们欢呼，为我们鼓励，加油。
It's a great cloud of witnesses.
有很多这么多的见证人，
And so what are we to do?
我们可以做的，
It says to throw off anything that would hinder us,
我们要抛开这些会阻挡我们的
any
一切事物，
sin that would entangle us,
这些捆绑我们的罪，
and run with perseverance.
让我们用持之以恒的态度来跑这个
The race that was set out before us.
在我们前面的路程。
And here's the key, fixing our eyes on Jesus, the author and perfecter of our faith.
定睛在神的面前，
He's the one who started the race,
这是神开启了我们的，
and he's the one who's going to finish it.
他要看到我们去跑完这个路程，
And so we can study how he did it.
我们可以看他如何做的。
He never lost sight of where he was headed.
他永远不会偏离。
He had that exhilarating finish, right, on the cross for us and rose from the dead, and now he's seated with God.
耶稣基督为我们而死，
And he never lost sight.
他没有放弃，他没有，
He put up with everything, the cross, the shame,
他把这些他的羞辱，
the humiliation.
还有这个耻辱，
But now he's there
他在天堂，
in that seat of honor.
在这个尊荣的宝座上。
And so when you find yourself flailing or tired,
有时候你觉得自己很累，好像自己要失败了。
the Bible version says, go over that story again. In English, it says, go over that story again. Go over the story of what Jesus did.
就是去经历神耶稣所经历的，
That he was able to overcome.
他能够去突破、克服这些挑战，
And that will enable your heart
会让
to
你的心
have not only the strength, but the adrenaline to keep going.
更加的坚强，继续前进。
Where are you guys at today?
今天大家是在哪阶段呢？
The last thing I want to show you is just this video.
最后想跟大家分享这段影片。
And there's English in it, but maybe Jackie can help translate as it's
Oh.
going. But it's a story of an Olympian.
这是一个奥运选手的故事。
who gets hurt during the race, and you might have seen this.
他在跑步的时候受伤了，
But just watch it, enjoy it as we close. Okay. Well, as they're doing that, we can take some time. Okay. Oh, awesome.
但是呢，在250公尺之前，那个终点线250公尺之前，他跌倒了。他跌倒了。这单架高塔有那个，它有，虽然它很痛，它还站起来，开始这样子跑。突然呢，有一个人从群众当中过来。不需要做，不需要为我做这个事情。他的 个父亲呢，用他的双臂包围了他这个儿子，然后帮助他跑完。在终点数之前，这个父亲把他的孩子放开，让这个孩子跑完比赛。Ray 他也许不是第一名，但是他还是完成了他的比赛。其实他很痛苦，其实他流着眼泪，他还是决定要用他所能，尽他所能。他也这么爱他的爸爸，他跌倒的时候把他扶起来。为什么他的爸爸会这样做呢？因为他看到孩子痛苦的脸，他的孩子受伤了，但他想要完成这个比赛，所以他的爸爸就去帮他。神就像这样子，当我们受伤的时候，他会来帮我们。你呢？你的比赛是什么？你现在经历痛苦吗？你想要放弃吗？
God, I thank you that you're here with us.
神啊，谢谢你现在在我们当中。
God, I thank you that as we enter a race that we don't run alone.
谢谢你，当我们在比赛的时候，不是独自一人的。
I thank you for every one of my brothers and sisters here.
谢谢你让我们有这么多弟兄姊妹今天在这里。
I pray for any person who may feel lonely or like they haven't belonged.
我为这些感觉到孤单的弟兄姊妹祷告。
To find belonging in this place.
让我们能够在这里有归属感。
In your family.
在你的大家庭当中。
God, I pray for anybody who may have just wrong perceptions of who you are as a good father.
神啊，主啊，有些人可能对你有一些错误的观感。
Or as a friend.
或是朋友。
That you would come right now and that you would show them who you are.
你会现在可能讲到我们身上，到我们当中显现你是怎么样的大。
God, I pray that those who may feel weary.
主啊，我们因为这些感到疲倦的。
Or disappointed at life.
或是对人生感到绝望的、
As
失望的。
They have fallen down.
或是已经跌倒了。
Or can't get back up.
他们可以重新站起来。
God, I pray that right now that you would speak hope into their spirit.
主啊，求你让那个希望能够进入他们的心当中。
Because you are the hope of tomorrow and you are the strength for today.
因为你是我们明日的盼望，你是我们今日的力量。
God, I thank you that it's not in our own strength but your strength
主啊，
alone.
是的，谢谢你，因为不是靠我们自己的力量。
And I pray right now that even in stirring in people's hearts.
主啊，求你来翻转我们的内心。
To not only to want to get up and into the race.
让我们不只要站起来把这个比赛跑完。
But to yearn for more of you in heaven.
让我们能更加的渴慕你，在我们的渴慕天国的喜乐。
God, as we're in a broken and dying world.
主啊，我们现在是在一个这个破碎、这个很没有盼望的社会。
I thank you that you put us here.
谢谢你让我们能够今天在这聚集在这里。
As your representatives, as your sons and daughters.
让我们当你的见证人，让我们当你的子女。
God, that we can run this race together.
让我们能够一起来跑这个美好的路程。
And looking unto you, Jesus, as the author and the perfecter of our faith.
耶稣基督就是我们这个信心的来源。
For who the joy that was set before him endured the cross.
他为我们而死，为我们钉十字架。
Despising its shame.
就是为这些痛苦。
Oh God, we know that there is no cross without a crown. No cross without a crown.
没有其他的冠冕。
But we thank you, Lord, that you look at us.
主啊，谢谢你看顾着我们。
That all of heaven cheers us on.
这个天国都是我们的准备的。
So I just pray for not only that hope, but a persevering faith.
让我们有一个天国的盼望，还有一个坚持的、坚韧的心。
To not only finish the race, but to have victory in you.
让我们能够靠着你得胜。
God, thank you, Lord. We bless your name.
谢谢主，我们奉靠你神圣的名求。
In your name we pray. Amen.
阿门。
Guys, God bless you.
祝福各位。
对不起，我 went way over, but thank you for your grace.
谢谢你们大家。
All right, have a blessed day.
祝大家有美好的一天。